Money Day, guys and girls. Hope you are all blessed. If you're locked in right now, you're learning with Vel. Now, today's another episode. I'm bringing you episode 4 of 350 vlogs throughout the rest of the year. Now, the time is currently 2:30 in the morning. I've had quite an eventful day, so I thought, literally, I was just about to go to bed. I'm tired, and I was like, shit, I haven't done my video, so let me just quickly come and tune in, tap in with you guys and tell you guys about my day, but tell you most importantly about something that I think can benefit you guys. You know, every video that I do, I want to be able to leave a stamp, a mark that helps you guys be that 1% better. And yesterday we spoke about how closed mouths don't get fed, and today I kind of really wanted to deal with the process of dealing with losses. And dealing with losses could be dealing with family grievances, it could be dealing with losing a partner, it could be dealing with losing money, it could be dealing with losing out on an opportunity. And one of the things that I think is important is to always have some type of focus on the direction that you're going, because for too long I believe that a lot of people within the industry have always kind of put you in a box. I say in the industry, in any industry that you're in, okay? A lot of people tend to marginalize or limit their success based on the fact that their dreams are not big enough. And when you deal with a loss, sometimes that loss that you deal with can knock you back for six. Now, I read a book, and this book that I read, it's called The Success System That Never Fails. There was two books by Napoleon Hill. One was The Success System That Never Fails, and the second was The Success System Through a Positive Mental Attitude. Now, to summarize what these books were about, you may have guessed it already. It was how to think successfully, or how to have positive thoughts, we should say. But to go into a bit more depth about the books, what they basically taught me was that your brain works like a talisman, a 50p coin, right? On one side, you have the queen's head. On the other side, you have heads and tails, right? Now, your brain works just like heads or tails, okay? You know that saying when you've met someone and they're having a bad day and you're like, oh, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Well, when you do wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you tend to attract a lot more negative results throughout that day. Hence the reason why people are able to say, hey, that person woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And what the book kind of tells you is that your brain works just like a coin. Okay, when you're thinking negatively, you will attract negative thoughts. When you're thinking positively, you will attract positive thoughts. And this is really important because I was quite fortunate enough to have a mother who was really into personal development. She used to bring me to a lot of seminars when I was younger, when quite frankly I didn't really care about it. I had no value, I saw no value in the events that I was attending. But I attended so many events, and my mum started bringing my uncle along. And one of the events that I went to, she basically brought my uncle along with us. And this had been like maybe the third or fourth event that me and my uncle had attended. And this event happened to be a Tony Robbins event. For those of you who don't know, Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker. He's quite renowned for what he does. And I was very fortunate enough to be able to attend his event. It was like a 3-day event. We attended it for 2 days. And on the first day, or on the second day, he was speaking. So the first day he had like loads of other speakers and stuff, right? So on the second day, I guess he had attended on the first day because and we didn't attend on the first day, or we left early, should I say, sorry. So we didn't see his speech, but when we got there on day 2, he was like, everybody say yes. And everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. I never forget this. There was a Chinese guy behind us and he was like, yes, 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 yes. And me and my uncle were like, fucking hell, mate, is he all right, you know? So we kept really acting like, flipping out every time he was like, saying yes, yes, yes. We was just laughing. For the first couple of hours of this event, we just was dying of laughter. And my uncle used to do this thing where I think we attended another event one time. Big up Uncle Noel, yeah? And the other event that we attended, you had to write a note on a piece of paper and share it with your neighbor. And long story short, my uncle used to really break down all of these people, all of these motivational speakers, right? And he wrote on the note and he passed it to me and it said, buy me. It said, buyme.com. And when he wrote it to me, I could have cried out of laughter and so could he. And we was trying to hold it in and it was a really funny moment. And so this is the type of vibes. I'm just setting the foundations for you guys to understand what the environments were like when we used to go to these type of events, right? We just wasn't serious, okay? We just used to laugh at everyone. And this Tony Robbins event, he went into a lot of speeches, and then he went into some like hypnotherapy type of mode where we was in the Excel Center. First things first, there was thousands of people at this event, and then he dimmed the lights. The lights was off. They was playing this music like what was the song? Nobody can touch you. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know. You probably won't get it from that, but it was like some Lion King type of shit, right? And my uncle, oh, you know that song, something inside so strong, so strong. Oh no, yeah. So it was that type of stuff that was going on, yeah. And long story short, what happened is we was there, and he basically got you to visualize your life being successful 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, 4 years ahead, 5 years ahead. And then he got you to visualize your life being unsuccessful, being the worst possible outcome. 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, 4, 5. And he was like, you know, where are you? Are you dead? Have all your family disowned you? He really got you to be thinking about the worst possible things. And at this point, when he's got everyone to be thinking negative, because he done that part first, this woman behind us started screaming. People were screaming in the venue. And again, when the lady started screaming behind us, me and my uncle went, fucking hell. And now we're laughing, we're trying to hold it in. And something clicked inside of me at some point that made me say to myself, bro, stop coming to these events and just wasting your time, because these people are getting something out of this. And the way how I saw these people crying and screaming, this lady was like, no, she was screaming, slapping the floor, and the theatrics was on a level I'd never seen. And that's obviously how deep he had touched her. And something inside of me at some point just said, Cavell, you need to take this serious, bro. Like, otherwise there's no point coming. And what happened is there was something at some point and I was like, you know what? Let me just lock into this, because if I'm going to be here, I might as well use what I've got in front of me. And I started to tune in. He got you to visualize yourself. So if I said to you guys, close your eyes, visualize you holding the miniature version of yourself right in front of you. Yeah. Visualize you holding the baby version of yourself. He got us to see the baby. So I was holding baby Cavell in my hands. He was like, what would you tell yourself? You know, had you speaking to yourself. And then if you guys remember the old school Kodak camera film lenses, the film strips, he basically got us to visualize this strip and then visualize a helicopter. And what he would do is, going through the Kodak strip, I want you to visualize all of the bad moments in your life, pick them up with like a little claw machine that I guess you find in an amusement park, where you can pick up and win a toy out of the machine. Go down, reach into this bad moment, pick it up, and then you drag it over to the furnace and you release it. So he got us to, it was like he was brainwashing us. He got us to remove all of the bad memories in our life so that we could only focus on good things. He got us to visualize where we were a year ahead, 2 years ahead, 3, 4, 5. And one of the years that I got to visualize myself being ahead, one of them was based on me being inside of a room. I was wearing a cream suit, and I had on a gold Rolex, a day date, and I was somewhere hot. I didn't know where I was, but I was somewhere hot. The floors was brown. It felt like I was in Venice or somewhere, and I'd never been to Venice before. But I got myself to visualize being inside of this room, and there was like a mirror in the corner, and I was looking at myself like this, just in the mirror, looking at myself. Now, skip forward a couple of years, okay, I ended up going to Madrid. And I got a job to work in Madrid. I was fortunate enough. I was working there for about I worked there for 3 years. I worked in Madrid. I lived in Madrid for 3 years. And long story short, guys, I lived in a company apartment when I first moved out there. And then when I made enough money, I went and I got my own apartment. Okay. one day I was walking down a road with a friend, a colleague of mine, and we was talking about personal development. Somehow we came across personal development because I used to read a lot of self-help books, right, based off of what Tony Robbins had done for me. And then somehow we got on the topic of Tony Robbins, and I had, like, for those of you who have seen That's So Raven, you know, she has that moment where she's like, she has that visualizing moment. Well, I had that moment where I just froze. And what basically happened was I realized in that moment, which was, you know, a good 15 months of me already being in Madrid and moving to my own apartment, that the first apartment that I moved into was the exact same vision that I had years ago when I was at the Tony Robbins seminar. I lived in an apartment where the floor was brown mosaic, which was exactly what I visualized. There was a brown mirror, and I also had a brown suit. Now, I didn't have a all gold day date, but I did manage to get myself a Rolex. It was a Turnograph. And at the end of the day, even though I didn't get the exact one that I wanted or visualized, I still got myself a Rolex, right? And the moment was so surreal that it made me freeze, because I was like, wow, I lived what I visualized, and I didn't even realize it. So in actual fact, you know, today's episode is about visualizing, because the power of visualization is so real and so strong that you really do take it for granted. And I say this because you might think to yourself, look, right now I've got nothing going for myself, or I'm only working a 9 to 5, or I'm in over my head, I'm in arrears, I'm in debt, I don't see any light out of the tunnel from where I currently am right now. And it's only through the power of thought and belief, of you consistently thinking of that exact same thing, is when the universe goes to work, and your brain works like a delivery system, like an order system going into the McDonald's drive-through. Whatever you tell your brain you want, it will find a way to bring it towards you. But if you don't keep that same thought in your head, whilst it's coming towards you, you'll be walking away from it. And then if you're walking away from it, eventually you never obtain your goal or your desire, because you haven't kept your thought process locked into that exact desire that you're seeking. And the moment was so surreal, because I was like, wow, for the past 8 months, I've lived inside of this apartment that I didn't even realize is a place that I visualized. I didn't want to live in there. It wasn't really a nice apartment, but it was the exact same thing. The walls were brown. There was a brown mirror. I had on a brown suit. Everything, pretty much down to a T, was exactly what I visualized. This was when I was 22, and I went to the event when I was 18. So that's 4 years later. 4 years later, guys, what I visualized actually came into fruition. Now, at the time when I went to the event, I didn't work in sales. I didn't work in an office-based job. I was playing football, okay? And at some point, my football career wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go, so I realized I had to get a job. And one time I said to myself, I said, look, I looked up to the sky and I was like, I want to get a job that is respectable, and most importantly, a job that can make me wear a suit on a daily basis. And when I was at this Tony Robbins event, I visualized myself being in a blue 3-piece suit with a white shirt and a red tie. Now, for those of you who have worn 3-piece suits, you know this is quite a common combination. But for me at that moment, I'd never worn a suit unless I was going to a wedding. And the first job that I got in Canary Wharf, I actually went and bought a suit, which was a blue suit, a white shirt, and a red tie. I'd done this all unconsciously, I'd done this all unconsciously aware of the fact that I visualized this. And again, 4 months into me working at this job, I remember one day I went to the toilet, I was washing my hands, about to leave the toilet, and I looked up at myself in the mirror, and I had the That's So Raven moment. I looked up and I froze. And when I froze, I was like, this is the exact same moment. This is the exact same suit that I visualized myself wearing 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it was pretty emotional, because I realized that what I thought about, I obtained. And I didn't even realize at the time I'd had the suit for maybe 3 or 4 months. And I didn't realize it until it wasn't too late, because I still had on the suit, but I didn't realize it. And what I started to realize was, wow, I can really obtain anything that I set my mind to. So as I was working in sales, I started on a daily basis. Let's say I needed to make 20K in sales. I'd tell myself every single day, I've made 20K in sales, I've made 20K. And throughout the whole month, the month wasn't really going my way. Guys, on the last working day of the year, before we shut up shop to go for Christmas, the same deal size, the same deal size that I wanted, I got on the last day. On the very last day, on my mother's life, on the very last day of working and of me saying the same thing, I got a 20K deal. It wasn't even 20K. At the time, it was a 50K deal, right? And I even remember the client, okay? And on the last day, I got the deal. On the last day, I got the deal. Now, all that shows me is throughout the whole month, I was tried and tested, okay? But due to me having the same thought in my head and being consistent with that same thought, I achieved my target on the last working day of the year, and the client paid. So I'm telling you this because I need you to understand the power of thought, the power of visualization is very real. And there was a thing that Tony Robbins said, which is what the mind can conceive and believe you can achieve. It might sound corny, it might sound cheesy. I'm telling you guys, this shit works. So if there's anything I can leave you with today, it's the fact that I still do vision boards, okay? I still visualize myself obtaining certain things. I tell myself on a daily basis that I've achieved certain things, and I get closer to those goals. Sometimes I achieve them, sometimes I don't. But sometimes when I don't, I come really close. I come close enough for me to be grateful. So I want you guys to understand that, if you're not a religious person, that's fine. But your brain works like an order system, like a McDonald's drive-through. If you tell your brain what you want to order and you repetitively tell yourself this in a state of gratitude, not telling yourself in a state of worry, in a state of like, oh, I need to make this. No, I'm telling myself on a daily basis, I've made 50K. I've made a 50K deal. I've closed a 50K deal. This is what I was telling myself every single day. And on the last day, when, it's the last day of the working year, everyone's already in holiday mode, but I'm still grinding. I'm still going through the numbers. On the last day, I got the deal. On the last day. So I promise you this when I tell you this, guys. The power of visualization is very real. And as long as you can believe something, you will always achieve it. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today, is what your mind can believe and can conceive, you can achieve. You just have to keep that thought in your head. No matter how happy you are, how sad you are, keep that thought in your head. And sometimes the emotions of loss brings out a deeper frequency. It brings out a deeper state of mind that actually makes you closer to obtaining your goals. So whenever you guys are feeling sad and feeling depressed, just repetitively tell yourself something positive that you want to achieve, and your mind, when you go to sleep, the universe is going to work on bringing those things closer to you. So yeah, that's today's episode done. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, guys. Do not sleep on that.